It's written in to be 12:30 on Saturday, that fixture.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the final episode of Burning Questions of the season. Myself, Andy, and Harry are here for a game week, end of season wrap up. Just going to be a casual stream. It's good to have Andy back. We'll review game week 38, chat a bit about probably Tottenham and Spurs at some point, and just try and have a bit of fun. Good to see your ranks in the chat as well. They all seem to be higher than mine, so that's good. But yeah, Andy, nice to see you.
Yeah, good to see you boys. Finally get rid of the season in the bin, and hopefully we can do a good review and come back ready for next season.
Yeah, and if you could just let us know the sound's all right in the chat. But yeah, Harry, how are you? Good stuff from Chelsea.
Yeah, great Chelsea win. I didn't really check my FPL team. Like, I didn't think I'd be as nervous about Chelsea as I was until it kicked off, and then I just didn't look at my FPL team really until it got to full time. Like, I was aware of the players I had and how they were doing, and I was aware of the players that could damage me, because I was following Newcastle because it was important, and I was following Villa, so I knew how a lot of my players were doing, but I didn't really check it until we got to full time. But yeah, Chelsea win. I mean, if we win on Wednesday night, we've suddenly had a very, very good season. So yeah, feeling good on a Monday morning.
Yeah, exactly. And Andy, Tottenham, nice to see Son with a medal round his neck, albeit he didn't actually get one at the start, but he missed out on the medal.
It was cool.
But yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of trip down memory lane in terms of being very nervous for a final. And I've had that a few times in my life for different teams, different players I liked, and I think this was it, right? This is probably the last legitimate shot at a proper title, and Europa League's proper title. It's we put Champions League at such a pedestal, we forget how amazing some of the teams that play in the Europa are, and to finish 17th but walk away with a trophy is so funny. But more than anything, I'm super happy for Son. I mean, the Spurs team, I think people probably, I might have said this in the past before, but I'm not like a Baker, shout out Baker, where lifetime Spurs fan. I kind of fell in love with the Spurs team with the arrival of Sonny, and really, really started to love the team probably when they made that Champions League run in 2018-19, and just to see that core group of players disappeared, and Son sort of, let's be honest, towards the tail end of his career. Hopefully he can make a solid start next year, but it was just amazing. I think just the celebrations and him officially being, in my eyes, a legend of the club means a lot. So yeah, super cool. And more than anything, just having an Asian captain lift a Premier League club trophy as a club captain is also very, very meaningful. So super, super cool to see. Yeah.
That's very good words. And yeah, I agree that we do place the Champions League on too much of a pedestal, and we shouldn't forget about the Conference League either.
Yeah.
Which hopefully
I have to say,
we'll
Tom,
grab on Wednesday.
I didn't hate Spurs winning it as much as I thought I'd hate Spurs winning it.
Yeah, I didn't either.
There are a couple of there are a couple of players there. I was happy for Son, and I was partly looking at Ange. I was quite happy for him, and it's also the fact that it was United. If it was against a European club, I would have absolutely wanted you to lose, and that's fine. And I probably did want United to win, but as a Chelsea fan, there were parts of me that, yeah, I mean, we could talk all day, we could do whole podcasts, and people will do podcasts on what this is going to mean for Man United going forward, and yeah, it's gonna be pretty damaging to them, I think, long term. But yeah, for Son and for Ange in particular, it was nice to see them, and it looks like Ange is staying another year.
Based off what? Is that just your head, or is
no? That's what he said. What he said season 3 is better than season 2.
Yeah, but then he said hopefully he'll be here next year. I mean, I'm not complaining if he stays, but
he said on the mic, and just TV series, season 3 is better than season 2. If he ends up going, it suddenly looks really weird. So I think he'll be here next year.
Yeah, but that was such a cold line. I think that was super cool. But Did you see the game? So they got battered yesterday, right? And
Yeah,
there was like
but
a
They're all drunk.
right. I get it, but there was
yeah.
a moment where they flashed the camera at Daniel Levy,
Mm,
and the guy did not look happy at all.
no.
So I think he stays. I think he deserves to stay. He delivered a trophy, but
Mm,
hopefully they make some reinforcements over the summer.
mm.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think he'd be on borrowed time though if they still performed as poorly in the league. But anyway, he
Mm.
does deserve it. To be fair, after what he said, I suppose.
So
Reluctantly,
funny.
still don't think he's very good. But
Yeah.
yeah, cool. We will cover off game week 38 now. Harry, do you want to go first? I'll pop your team up on screen.
I don't know if Andy wants to go first. If Andy wants to say anything.
Right,
Oh,
Andy,
you're joking, right?
do you first if you want. You can keep it brief.
No, I'll go first. I'll go first.
What?
I thought you wanted to just I thought we were just still talking in general. Sorry. 60 points for me. It was pretty bang average week. I think I moved like 100 places. I had a Gvardiol 8. I bought in Bowen for De Bruyne after he wasn't starting, and Burmo return and Salah cap. But yeah, apart from that, there was nothing really. It felt like it felt like a horrible game week 38. Like it was great for people protecting rank basically. And it was really bad for anyone trying to chase anything because unless you went Semenyo, basically nothing came off. And as long as you owned Bowen and Burmo, Salah, who were all like 80% owned minimum going into that final day, Semenyo was about the only one that could help you claw up any type of rank. So it was rubbish if you were trying to chase. It was a really bad game week generally. I think this game week 38 will go under the radar a little bit, but yeah, it wasn't the best.
Yeah.
Fine week for me.
Secured the 5th consecutive top 10k finish.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I have
yeah.
to say
I mean,
congrats for that. To be fair, that's quite impressive.
yeah. I mean, I was quite fortunate because, yeah, if I hadn't have bought Bowen, I would have bought Fabian Schär and kept De Bruyne, and I basically would have been on 10k, probably maybe just inside, just outside, based on transfers made. So I have to say I'm appreciative. I know leaks are not popular and I don't love them in the game, but this week I have to say a big thank you to them because buying Jared Bowen saved my week.
Yeah, Jared Bowen, only Salah scored more points since game week 24. So he's had a crack.
It'll be interesting to see what he's priced in our next season. But yeah, five in a row is what I wanted when we got to the end, and very happy to get it.
Yeah, very impressive. We'll come back to Planet Earth now with myself and Andy's scores.
Nice one.
Andy, you can go. A rough game week 38, but you've come back pretty well from 3 million to 500k.
I mean, first of all, shout out Harry, guys. Top 10k 5 years in a row. I mean, like, amazing. I'm not trying to glaze you at all, but really, really impressive. And by the way, he is the second best ranked manager in the last 5 seasons. So, yeah, man, like, I'm pretty much gonna copy your team next year, and just that's my strategy next season. So, good on you, by the way. But yeah, Tom, I mean, I think you had a pretty decent sort of comeback towards the end, I think. But for me, I feel like it was just really bad for pretty much the half the season, and then just stuck around the 2 million rank pretty much until game week 26, 27, something like that, right? So just couldn't figure it out. And then, really made a good run the last 10 weeks and got all the way to around 350k with 2 game weeks remaining. And of course, what happens is that you get greedy and you think like, oh, if I push a little bit more here, maybe I can break the top 200k. And that's exactly what I tried to do the last 2 game weeks. And, that's why I ended up at 5 something. So it just went all wrong in the last 2 game weeks, which pretty much summarizes my season. But I was thinking at 300k, 500k, what's the difference here, right? So I just kind of went for it, had some fun with it actually. Just didn't work out, and a lot of interesting lessons learned this year. Maybe we can speak on it soon, but excited to start again for next year.
Yeah, there's always next year. That's the best thing about this game. But yeah, Captain Evan Nielsen, that was I think I was unlucky, to be fair. He missed an absolute sitter from 2 yards out.
No, it was a shot in the dark, and I also like had these unfortunate things where I benched Konza last week, benched Sar this week, and messed up a few things here and there, and I think it was a good summary of my season. Just it just didn't go right consistently, if you know what I mean. So I've always sort of played the previous seasons very initially at the start of the season. I try not to take too many risks, kind of just keep up with the pack, and then if you keep up with the pack, like you're putting yourself in a position to attack probably in the second half of the season, right? That's sort of the strategy I've always had. And this year, I think from the start, it just went wrong. Like, even though I feel like I had a pretty, let's call it template team with a few differentials here and there, like the few differentials didn't work. And the ones that I didn't own did really well. I was missing price rises. And it was actually kind of crazy because I really think the beginning of the season is quite important. It really sort of sets you up for the rest of the year. Of course, you can always catch up, but I think I'm going to be paying particular attention to making sure I'm with the pack at the start of next year is sort of the thinking I have at this moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, very sensible, very sensible. Moving on to my 38 team, I got 62, which was a green arrow, but not a big enough green for the top 100k. I bought in Evan Nielsen and White, so that Arsenal double clean sheet was a bit of a would have made me top 100k, but that's that. And then Salah, obviously, his 10-point goal was worth 14 minus points for me, it took me from about 83k in the 87th minute, so it's a bit annoying, but oh well. My gamble of Haaland and Palmer over Salah and Isak. I mean, it paid off in one respect because Salah and Isak did nothing in the last 4 or 5 weeks, but
yeah,
it helps if the players you bring in do something as well. And Haaland lost his bonus, which I've just seen, so that was frustrating as well.
Just feels like that over the past few weeks. And like I said about game week 38, that there just wasn't really any players that could have done anything to really help you make rank, even if you've bet against the highly owned assets. And it's just been the same for the past few weeks. Like Wissa got a 10-pointer last week, but apart from that, no forwards really done it. In midfield, it's just how early you bought Bowen, and apart from that, it just feels like there's just been nothing for the end of the season to try and help you claw back. It's not been very good for people trying to chase rank. It's been a pretty bad end to the season for that.
Yeah, I mean, that Mbumo captain last week stands out for me because if he'd scored that second penalty, would have been worth about 20 points. So anyway, there you go, 113k. Neither here nor there really, but yeah. So Harry, do you want to sort of, you said you got some questions and stuff.
I have some nice little fun questions to end the season. And
look at us, we have no idea what to do for the.
We have no idea what's coming either. So this could be anything.
Last stream of the season.
It's a wrap.
So I just got 5 questions, random ones.
Okay.
If you want to put them in the chat as well, or if you're watching back, if you're on podcast, feel free to make a mental note. So the first one is just going to be who is your specific for your FPL team, your favourite player you've owned this year? So for me, Chris Wood game week 1 is it for me. Like going with him start of the season, game week 1, still really low owned for like the first 10 weeks. Having Chris Wood for that run is definitely the one that I look back on. So that's the one for me as an example. Yeah. If you're in the chat, put them in. We'll read some of them out, and I've got 5 questions, so we'll do all of them. But any ideas?
I would say I'll give you 2, unless you haven't got a manager question, have you?
No.
Okay, so I would say Munoz is my player of the year because I got on him early, and he's just so fun to own. You see your defense. You went like that Old Trafford game sticks out where he got an assist and a clean sheet. He was in on goal in the 90th minute, defending a 1-0 lead. It's just like the stuff of dreams, really. Reminded me of Alonso, and then 2 weeks later they beat Fulham away. He got a goal and a clean sheet, and I had Glasner as well. So. For a table bonus win.
All the Palace.
Yeah, it would be Munoz. I'm
sure we're going to talk about Palace with a few of the other questions as well.
Nice.
Andy?
So when you finish at the rank that I have, there's not that many that That's a good memory, but I think the highlight of my season was that back four in the 34 free hit. So
Yeah.
Jose
Oh,
Sa,
penalty save,
Nori,
yeah.
Sessegnon, and Trippier, which
Mm.
was probably like a 15, 15, 11, 11, something like that. So I think that's one for the history books, something we'll remember forever that week. So
Yeah.
yeah.
You had a
Looking
Sun
at the
brace
chat,
as well, didn't you, Andy? Game week 2, was it?
Oh, come on, that's a lifetime ago.
No, I know, but I think you did get a Sun haul when we both told you to not go there.
Yeah,
looking at
look, well,
what. Go
go
on.
ahead.
I was
Look
just saying,
at
looking at you go, Andy. You go.
I said, look where that got me, Tom. But go ahead, Harry.
Looking at the chat, there's Mbermo, Wissa, Luis Diaz early on, Pickford, Olorina as a differential. People have gone Eze on wildcard 30, Rogers, Clivert when he did well, Lewis Hall, Chris Wood for his hat trick. Yeah, there's quite a lot of there. Olorina, 15 pointers. There's a
Forest
few in there.
defence.
So next question, at Forest Defence. I've owned them. I bought them in on wildcard 30 and I went with 2 of them and they haven't kept a clean sheet since. Outrageous. It's just like I brought them in and they were just punishing me every week and they didn't keep a clean sheet in the final 8 games. Anyway, the biggest troll that you've owned, so the player that you've had in your
God.
team and they've been a nightmare to own whilst they've been in your team. I'm going to go Ismail Assar. I just feel
that's a
like
good
he's
one.
been
And he scored in
such
every
a pain
cup
at the
game
end.
as well.
I know, and he scored in game week 38 when I put him on the bench as well. So I'm sure if I go back earlier on in the season, like I actually think David Raya is also up there. I just haven't enjoyed owning Raya at all.
No.
Like, please do not let me buy an expensive goalkeeper next season. But Ismail Assar takes it, and David Raya is a close second for me.
Andy,
Tom?
are you ready? I know. Okay, I'll go. I would say, and this is quite fitting because at the start of the year when we first started doing these, I got pelters for saying Palmer was the best player in the league and best player in the world and all that. But I have to say,
You calmed down. You calmed down on it throughout the season.
Yeah, well, yeah, slightly. But yeah,
For those that are not aware, this guy Tom refused to give up on Palmer for half the season until
he actually had a good first half of the season, but that's besides the point. The point I'm making is that since I brought Palmer back I had him a bit, and then I brought him back in the last few weeks. He's done absolutely nothing. Blanked 3 times. Captained him against Southampton when he got 1.4 XGI. Do you remember that game when he just missed chance after chance and we scored 6 goals? But yeah, so reluctantly it would have to be Cole Palmer.
Yeah. For me, I think pretty much all the players that did well are trolls, whether they're on my team or not. But the ones that stick out to me at the start of the season was Kwanzaa and
Kwanzaa and Kunku, Barco,
and
League One.
Barco, this fucking troll. Sorry, guys, and also Muniz, going Muniz over. I think it was Chris Wood, and also Eze, man. Eze at the start of the season was a big troll,
Yeah.
So that was kind of my initial start. That's how the season started, So. And then throughout the season, players I didn't own, I mean, Forest Defense absolutely murdered me. Cunha murdered me for a while. Wood, obviously. And then, I'm also part of the SAR gang as well that just couldn't deliver.
Yeah, looking at the chat, Barco and Kunku, Foden, Fernandez, João Pedro, Semenyo and Eze earlier in the season, Haaland after he stopped scoring, Jackson, João Pedro, Jota. Yeah, Saka. I don't know whether I think that Saka is a troll as well. Yeah, I agree. Since game week 30, he's been a troll. To follow on from that one, question number 3 is the player you've hated not owning the most, right? That when you just see that goal notification and
Chris
it goes
Wood.
in.
Chris Wood.
There's gonna be so many Chris Woods.
Next question. Chris Wood.
Eze recently for me, one where he came off the bench. Sarr started and he came off the bench with 10 minutes to go and he still outscored Sarr. That Eze one. That Eze is top. Eze is definitely top for me. Not owning.
Yeah, I would say Rodgers, it's not really the question, but Rodgers, when I benched him, seemed to always get something.
Yeah.
And Forest defense was just relentless. And then they'd concede, and then Aina would just like pop one in from 30 yards. And then Milenkovic, 5 goals as well.
Yeah,
season.
that's true. The Forest defense in general, to be honest, should be up there. But there's a lot of people going with Chris Wood in the chat for that one. Question number 4. So this is quite broad. Your most memorable moment of the season. It can either be good or it can be bad. And it sounds like for you it was the defense in game week 34, that free hit.
Yeah.
I think for me it was the week I swapped Haaland for Salah. There was like, everyone was like, do we do it? Do we do it? And like people did it in different weeks. I feel like I was quite early to do it. And the week I swapped it and we all did, I did Haaland to Cunha and bought Salah. And just every week, just like gained you like 25 points. I would say that's my most memorable like period.
I would say Palmer scoring 4. I know he's my biggest troll, but I have to say that was the best day of the season for me, being at Stamford Bridge, watching him score 4.
Did you own him?
Yeah, I did own him. And that was my biggest green arrow that in game week 6 or something. So that was cool to watch.
People saying triple captain Haaland game week 2, Sarr 15 and 11 back to back after everyone sold him, owning Cunha and Aït-Nouri for 2 last minute equalisers. They also then did get sent off. They should probably be in trolls as well. And one final one. So I always think about this when I get to the end of the season. Some goals stick in my mind much more than other goals.
Yeah.
So like for me, because I was chasing rank, game week 37, I will look back on Watkins as my captain assisting Ezri Konsa for a goal as the goal that I think got me the rank. And I will look back on it and like I'll think about that goal when I think about this season and what got me across the line. So what is your one most memorable goal that was in your team? Heather in the chat is saying Bowen's hat-trick as Bowen's captain in game week 38. Sally is saying I captain Isak for his hat-trick. So there are a few suggestions in there, but mine is, it can be anything. It can be a highly owned one or a differential, but mine is game week 37, Ezri Konsa, assisted by Ollie Watkins.
I had him on the bench.
I would say, wait.
Yours is going to be Palmer again.
No, I got a couple. I think Sessegnon, that Sessegnon day
yes.
when he, like, everyone's like, is he going to start? And then I'm like, yeah, I'll take the risk. Then he's at left back. So it's like, well, that was pointless. And then he scores in like the 90th minute, gets 3 bonus. And that was a kind of iconic moment. And then I think Jackson's 2 goals against West Ham when no one owned him. And he got an assist as well. I really enjoyed that for obvious reasons.
Cayman saying Chris Wood. I could pick out a lot of Chris Wood goals. It's hard to pick any specific one that I enjoyed more than the others.
They're all the same,
but
just a tap in.
Yeah, there were a lot of them though.
And you know, I've never owned Chris Wood this season. I refuse to own it. But anyways, I think again, I don't really have that many good memories.
Got to be a Son
of any
goal
goals
when
going
you
in.
owned him.
Yeah. No, I don't remember Son scoring at all. If anything, I remember.
Did you know that Son has more open play goals this season than Saka?
Yeah, because he's the better player. But you know, like,
let's not. We'll start talking about Palmer being the best player
slack
again.
for that. I don't know. Actually, maybe one that just randomly comes to mind is Joe Pedro's 90-minute goal. I think game 26-ish, something like that.
Was that the one he scored? Was that the pen against Arsenal? Was that a different week?
That was really early.
It was just such a.
Oh yeah, the pen against Arsenal was early, wasn't it?
It was just such a troll goal because like it was one of those players that just kept hanging on when everyone was selling, and he was just tickling along like Joe Pedro throughout that few game weeks and maybe 26 surrounding 26. So yeah, that was pretty memorable. And then obviously the free hit 34 was really memorable.
Looking at the chat. Gabriel header, Saka assist against Spurs. Didn't they take that away from Gabriel, or was that a different Spurs game? Maybe he did it in the reverse fixture
didn't
as well.
We benched Gabriel one time as well, Harry, do you remember?
It was game week 1 or 2, and I kept benching him, and he kept getting like 15 pointers, and I then said for the rest of the season, I'm never benching him, and he scored like 1 goal for the rest of the year. Semenyo yesterday, that's definitely got to be high up there. If you punted on Semenyo on the final day of the season, congratulations to you. Yeah. Konza, someone went McAllister when he hauled Son versus Everton, 16-pointer, 18 points from Rashford, captain, and then Burma in 33 was your favourite. First time owning Chris Wood when he scored a hat trick, and João Pedro 2 penalties versus Leicester, so that might be the same one. So a few there. That was all my questions. Just nice to think about the season and see what other people have had in their season as well.
I have one troll that I totally forgot about, and just some ridiculous part of me bought Enzo at one point in the season.
Oh, didn't we?
Right
all?
after, yeah, right after he had like a good game, and that was probably one of the worst purchases I've made.
He had a good
I
6
agree.
or 7 weeks, I remember, and then he did nothing.
And we all bought
is-
him at the end of that run.
Yeah.
And he's, yeah,
It's often the way
Yeah.
with cheap players.
yeah. One shout out I have to give is to my man Mikalenko. He came with me for such a large part of the season, and just kept hauling. We went through. There was this 6 game week period where I benched him for 5 of the 6 weeks, and in those 5 of the 6 weeks, he scored 40 points in 6 weeks. And I started him in one game, and he got a -1 by conceding 4 to Manchester United. And outside of that, he scored 7, 7, 11, 6, 6. But recently, he's done quite well. 8, 8, 9 to end the season with a goal and assist, and 2 clean sheets along that time as well. So
Yeah, he smashed it
I
yesterday.
always just like to see it. The little goal notification, Everton assist Mikalenko. He's disrespected too much, and hopefully he's 4.5 million again next year, and we can all own him.
Wasn't it his like first assist in 100 games or something?
And now he's got another one. So
He's loving life.
stats are there to be broken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thanks for those, Harry. I've just got the top scoring players, managers. We can just chat about them. Maybe talk about some prizes for next season. Just have a bit of a little bit of a discussion for the next 25 minutes or so. Any questions? Drop them in as well. Any comments, funny stories, whatever.
Yeah.
Robinson.
Shout
and
out to the
Kirkers.
BQ OG Pras. I think he's in the chat,
Yeah, Prads isn't.
being very, very, very lovely. Shout out to you.
Yeah, another ridiculous.
What a season Praz has had. Honestly, this guy. He told me to buy Burn as well, so I have to thank Praz for telling me to buy Burn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sally
you-
in the
you-
chat shouting out Robinson. You remember him at the start of the season?
Yeah,
Get
Robinson
your
gave me
assists
one.
every week off no XA.
Yeah,
Good shout,
And then
good shout.
and then surprised when they dried up, just like Chris Wood's goals dried up. But
God,
Anyway.
Chris Wood yesterday, Harry.
yeah, what did he have? 0.9 xg.
Yeah, 2 big
Wow.
chances.
Yeah,
We cashed in that XG.
he'd already used it all up in the first 13 weeks of the season.
Yeah. I'll shout out quickly before we get Wan-Bissaka as well. He's ended the season incredibly.
Yeah,
And I've
if
enjoyed
they
owning
play a
him.
back 5 next season and he's a wing back, he'll be very popular because he'll probably be 4-5 again.
Yeah. Cool. So let's look at the top scoring keepers to start. Pickford, top. Again, second consecutive season. And then he's
I'm just
followed by
looking, and I
Sells, Raya, Flecken.
I had him in my team, and he just didn't do anything for like weeks.
Yeah, well, the Moyes revolution, isn't it?
Yeah, but even then, like, he didn't do very much. Goalkeepers, please remind me not to spend much money on goalkeepers next year.
Yeah, I was going to say, so, Andy, what's your take on keepers this year? Obviously, Raya was the most expensive. He's third. And then Edison and Allison are far down.
Yeah. It's just not worth it, right? Like the premium keepers. I do remember at one point, like when Arsenal defense was basically untouchable. Everyone was, not everyone, but the sort of narrative was, Raya is like a season keeper type of situation. I think that was like game week 15 or something like that. And it's turned out not to be like we expected. So I don't know. I've done pretty well throughout the season with my keeper selections, especially like a Pickford here and there. So I think going cheap at the keeper position is the right way to go about it. But every situation is different, right? Like you might need to go premium for a little bit, bounce off of it. But it is a place I really don't want to waste any more transfers if I can.
Yeah, that's the same. That's where I see it as well. Like, I remember I had Henderson for 4 or 5 weeks. He did nothing. And then the week I took him out, he got a 12-pointer against United or Tottenham. Like that tends to be
it's just
what
so
happens.
hard to predict the right keeper. I think it's just pure luck to be frank with you. Like clean sheets are so difficult to predict, so you just kind of go with a keeper that can give you the best return over a lengthy period of time. And
I mean,
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, the hauls come in the games you don't expect it.
Yeah.
Like Pickford's hauls this season away at Newcastle, away at Forest, away at West Ham, okay, and at home to Newcastle, right? Like those are his double-digit hauls this season. Like you just wouldn't have predicted them. So even I'm like, oh, I could rotate cheap keepers next year, but you don't get the hauls
That's dying
by
out a
playing
bit,
good
I think.
fixtures.
You don't see many people rotating anymore.
No.
And I think another thing we have learned that this is more in line with the like Premier League trend is that promoted keepers. I think it used to be, you know, the Burnley keeper would be the one. You know, we had Sheffield United keepers as well, but there's such a gulf between the Championship now. Like,
hopefully they make them all 4 million next year.
yeah, I mean, would that then be an auto selection? Do you think?
Well, you'd have them as a backup.
Yeah. I mean, James Trafford, what did he get in the league? Like 20 odd clean sheets, 25 clean sheets.
Yeah, but it's not going to happen in the Prem.
No. And then finally,
they won't keep 10 in the Prem.
no.
I mean, just on that topic of keepers, like, I know we have to play the fixtures, but look how sort of Henderson to Flecken turned out at the first 15 games of the year. It just
11 games
didn't work
without
out.
a clean sheet.
You know, so it makes me question, like, do we really know what we're doing with picking keepers? Like, what's your take on it, Harry?
I wonder if we all went through our season of goalkeepers and added up all our goalkeeper points, where it would rank in the goalkeepers. How many goalkeepers have scored more points this season if I'd have kept them for 38 weeks than what I've actually got by using transfers on goalkeepers?
Exactly. That's a good test to have.
It's the penalty saves as well. Are so swingy. Like,
Yeah.
I'm guessing in that sort of exercise you just mentioned, if you had Sarr on free hit, you probably would have been all right. But,
Yeah.
And then finally, if Pickford's 5.5 next year,
No.
the top scoring keeper,
too expensive.
two
No
years
chance.
in a row.
He probably will have to be.
Yeah, but
Do
then
you
the
not think?
defenders should be 5, so you can't really have Pickford at 5.5 and then the defenders at 4.5 because it's no contest, is it?
Yeah, that's true. But then I think the defenders will probably go up.
No.
Maybe.
5.5 makes me want to go to a better team. It's way too expensive for Everton, I feel.
Yeah. I mean, if Mikolenko was 4.5 this year, after what they did last year, then surely he would be the same again. But anyway, yeah, that's goalkeepers. Nice to see our man Sanchez on there, Harry. Somehow he's the 6th highest scoring keeper.
Well, it's because we've conceded the 3 fewest goals.
Yeah, true. But anyway, I wonder if we'll see him next year.
Sorry, I am just trying to very quickly add up my goalkeeper points just to see where it would rank. I'm currently halfway through the season, and there are a lot of 1s and 2s.
Well, we will.
You keep
Fill
going,
the
and I'll be
airtime.
with you in a minute.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
we won't go off keepers just yet then.
I'm on game week 24. Pickford scored 10 points. I think that's my only double-digit goalkeeper return of the season. What a guy. 1.
On
Sorry.
goalkeepers, nice to see Fabianski get a game.
Yeah,
this
why
week.
did it have
Yeah,
to happen
why
in his
not the home game?
in his away game?
Yeah, that seems a bit mean.
Yeah. I did say it would happen though. Did correctly predict it, but just in the wrong week. Right, I'm in game week 33 now. I'm almost there. Right.
I reckon it's going to be.
Do you think I've outscored
140.
Pickford?
No, I reckon it's like 140,
What did Pickford get?
158.
What'd you
Okay,
get?
Right, so I haven't beaten Pickford. Who's second?
Sells
Wow.
with 150.
Didn't beat Sells. Who's third?
Raya,
Okay.
142.
Didn't beat Raya. Who's fourth?
Wow.
Flecken, our man Flecken, 138.
Did not beat Flecken. Who's fifth?
135, Henderson.
Didn't beat Henderson. Who's sixth?
Wow.
Are you in the 120s?
This is good.
No,
This is
I'm
good.
in the 130s.
This is great. Keep
so
going.
Sanchez got 126, so you were the 6th highest scoring keeper.
So there were 5 keepers that I could have owned this season that would have beaten my goalkeepers this season.
And they were
We
all
should get
different
data on
price
this. We should
brackets
get
as well.
we should get like 50 managers to add up their score and see compare this. You know.
And at the start of the season, so who were they? Sells, Pickford, Raya, Henderson, Flecken. They were like the 5 most owned keepers
Yeah.
at the start of the
Yeah.
season, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Sells thing, everyone would have gone Sells, wasn't it? But then everyone thought this Miguel guy was going to be number 1. Do you remember?
And that doesn't even include the fact that, like, I had a free hit week where I could have done something more than that.
Yeah. It's like very interesting data, but in the end, it doesn't mean much because we're not going to stick to one keeper, you know?
I
Yeah,
know,
and
but it
it
does
is,
does
yeah.
prove a point, though,
Yeah.
doesn't it? That
It does prove a point,
goalkeepers
yeah.
are so hard to predict.
But it's
Yeah.
easy to
'Cause
say,
even
but
if
like when
you-
you wildcard,
Yeah.
you're going to choose the keeper with the best fixtures.
Yeah. And even if you were to stick to one keeper for the season, it's like you got to get it perfectly right, you know?
But you
Yeah,
have to pick the 5 best keepers.
Yeah, but you could have chosen Allison. Like, he was popular. Leno was very popular.
Yeah, that's true.
Not as good. But yeah, I guess maybe the lesson is like around that first wild card. Like, maybe in hindsight, identifying that Cells was
Oh,
like Forest were good. I guess
Yeah.
it's maybe a lesson, but
FPL optimized apparently have it. Let me see. But yeah, we can move on to defenders.
cool. So, on the defensive list, the top scorers, Trent was finally knocked off top spot in game week 38 by Gvardiol. 153 points, which is pretty low, I think, compared to recent seasons for the top scoring defender. And then we had Milenkovic, Van Dijk, Munoz, Kirkez, Cucurella, Saliba, Murillo, and Aina. Not even Gabriel in the top 10. You'd have been... you'd have got
I
good
suppose
odds
the
on
injury.
that. But still, I
Yeah.
mean, like, yeah, you'd have got good odds on that. But
Yeah, you would have done.
a mixture of premium defenders and cheap defenders. But the thing that stands out to me here is goals. Like, you've got Gvardiol, Milenkovic, and Cucurella with 5. You've got Munoz with 4. And then I think Trent scored a couple, so yeah.
Wow. Surprised to see Cucurella so high up.
5 goals, I think. That's
Yeah.
30 points there straight off.
And a lot of clean sheets recently. Those just in the chat saying on FPL optimized, it does have it lower down, but that includes your bench boost goalkeeper, so you need to take that off.
Yeah.
Because that shouldn't really count.
Yeah.
So like mine is 141, but Areola got 8 on my bench boost, so it's 133.
Little flex there.
Yeah, what a guy.
Areola got 1 on my bench boost. But yeah, Gvardiol, what do we think about him? If he's left back next season,
He's gonna be 6.5 minimum, right?
yeah, should be.
I think City have been very good defensively recently. And I
Very
think it's
under
gone
the
a
radar,
little.
yeah.
Yeah. If he's 6'5" and they look like they are going a little bit more defense first, like they've ended this season, I think it would be popular again. I think it would be very popular.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, looking ahead to next season, you're probably going to have Saliba, Gabriel, Gvardiol as the 3 big ones.
6.5 for all of them, I imagine.
Yeah. Possibly Van Dijk, but I mean, it's going to be interesting with no Trent and maybe no Robertson.
Yeah, depends what Kirkez comes in at, right? If Kirkez signs and he's like a reasonable price, he'll be very popular.
Yeah.
Wow. Kirk is at Liverpool. That's exciting.
What about this
Exciting
Frimpong
FPL
guy?
pick.
Is he...
Right, there's so many mixed reports and no one seems to know. Is Frimpong coming in to start over Bradley? In which case, I feel very bad for Bradley.
I mean, they need 2 regardless, I suppose. Like,
Yeah, but like Bradley's been like, oh, we need more game time, so he's ready, etc., etc. And then before we even get to the end of the season, they've already signed a replacement for Trent.
yeah. Like, can he play wing as well, or is that not true?
I mean,
Not
he can
that
play
would-
like
he wouldn't play
right,
right
he
wing,
could
would
play right wing back or right mid. I wouldn't put him right wing in that Liverpool formation, no.
Yeah. Andy, what are your takeaways from defenders like Forest, stuff like cheapies performing, but not a lot of cheap players on this list?
Yeah, I mean, I think just really going against Gvardiol and Forest defense is what killed me, right? So for good reason, they're at the very top. And yeah, I think it just like what happened. Oh, this is a good way to put it. I think, like, for example, with Gvardiol, I was probably like a few weeks too late to the party, let's say. And it's okay to be a few weeks too late to the party, right?
Yeah.
If you just kind of bite the bullet and say you made your loss here, get him in, and then make it up elsewhere, find opportunities later. But I just had this like thing in mind where I could cover his points with someone else. I could cover his points for someone else. I want to catch up that point, blah blah blah, and that's pretty much a lesson I learned this year, like especially with Gvardiol. So those 2 not having in my team were killers, to say the least.
I think on defenders, and I think generally, the fact that the highest clean sheets this season was 13, it feels low.
Yeah, it's
I'm
very
pretty
low.
sure it is lower than before. So it does reinforce the need for attacking returns from defenders this year. That's why players like Munoz and others have been so good, because they've added that on top of an okay clean sheet return. So it'll be interesting going into next season whether we expect that to stay as low as it is. And if it is, then it really needs attacking defenders, right?
Yeah, I think the data would suggest like Arsenal, I think, have been the best defense this year, and
Yeah.
they've only got 13 clean sheets from it. So it's, I mean, if you're on the, are you on the FPL website?
Yes.
Could you look at Raya's XGC to what he actually conceded?
Yeah, his XGC was 35, and he conceded 34. So
Right.
almost bang on.
But to only get 13 clean sheets from that seems quite low. But yeah. Just a note here to remind me, if anyone says in preseason, can Mitchell at 4.5 cover Munoz at 5.5? Just say no, please.
Although game week 38, I'm just going to say Mitchell got his assist.
But yeah, Munoz is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And the sleeper Gabriel debate, has that been put to bed or not?
I mean, I think Gabriel's slightly better. I don't think there's that much in it. Saliba was just generally slightly better for bonus, and while Saka was out, there were just so few goals for Arsenal from set pieces, so I don't think there's much in it. I would still go Gabriel.
Yeah, hopefully Arsenal have some attacking fullbacks next year. Maybe a bit
Yeah,
cheaper.
I wonder. I just looked at Ben White going forward against Southampton and thought, have they not just missed that? I know, like, Timber's been great, but I feel like Ben White offers so much going forward in comparison.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Cool.
He's been injured a lot.
Yeah, he has. Move on to midfielders. Salah top, miles clear, 344 points. And then Mbumo second. Incredible season from Mbumo. Then Palmer, it's not bad, Palmer, to be fair. Bowen, Diaz, Fernandez, Semenyo, Rogers, Murphy, and Kluivert. Andy, on Brian Mbumo, where, like, if he's at Newcastle next year, 8 million, 9 million. What you
He
thinking?
loses pens, though, no?
He does, yeah.
Oh.
So you could kill him. But Andy, what are your thoughts on Mbumo and like his prospects with the move and stuff?
I mean, there's no guarantee he like does as well as he did this season, right? Especially when you move to a new team that's a better team, and no offense to Brentford fans, but in general, it's a higher wage team, and they just keep investing, and they have a lot of money, so he's surrounded by better players as well. So it's a matter of how he's going to fit in. He doesn't have Wissa, who he relied on quite a bit as well, and the system was built pretty much on Mbeumo, right? So
Yeah.
let's see how he does. I think it's a wait and watch a little bit. Of course, depending on fixtures, taking him game week 1, I could definitely see that if the fixtures are good. But there's no guarantee he's going to settle in right away. So let's see how he does.
Yeah. And then Bowen, Harry, he is an elite asset now. He's got 180 plus
Yeah.
points in 3 of the last 4 years. And he started the season at 7.5.
He's definitely going. He's 8.5 minimum next year, 9 maybe.
It should be more, really. Like,
Yeah.
he's a
No,
machine.
he's finished the season incredibly well, and has actually been pretty consistent for a lot of it as well. So, yeah, it's just what the price is going to be next year, right?
He's been consistent for years, man. Like I think
Four
Bowen
really good years.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bowen just is like this FPL pick that goes under the radar, and
Do you think he'd get a move?
I'd be surprised if he doesn't. I mean, he deserve.
I can't see it this summer.
Do you think the fact that his soon-to-be wife being Danny Dyer and then being all massive, her family all being massive West Ham fans, has any impact on it?
I mean, I think what could have more, not to answer your question the wrong way, but what could have more impact is the England thing. The fact he's been bumped out from Madueke, which...
Even as a Chelsea fan, that's wild.
I think that's harsh, unless Tuchel just wants to look at him. But yeah, I think that's the wrong decision. So
Yeah.
I think that.
But there is
bump
also
him
the
out
fact
more.
that he is getting married this summer, and has Bowen said, I can't be in the squad.
That's a pretty bold thing to do if you're fighting for
A
a
year
place.
before the Euros, yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
But yeah, I
But
think he'd be
you
the
know,
perfect Salah replacement for Liverpool
Yeah.
next year.
wow, high praise. Yeah.
Or-
For me, I think Bowen is like one of those tougher FPL picks because he's right at that price range where you can't get too many around his price range,
Yeah.
maybe one or two. And there's a lot of competition there, right? So he really goes under the radar. And by the time he's hot, it's like it's almost too late to jump on the party. So you have to. I feel like with Bowen, from my experience, you have to be real committed and pretty much faster than everyone else in terms of getting him in your team. If that makes sense at all.
Yeah, because in pre-season, like people do the perfect squad structure. It never has an £8 or £9 million midfielder in, really.
No.
But yeah, looking at the chat though on the goalkeeper thing, I can't see a single person that's beaten Pickford.
Yeah.
So actually, I think Carl did by 2 points, but it kind of says it all.
I wonder if there's a lesson to be learned there.
Yeah,
But I don't quite know what it is yet.
pick the right one.
Pick the right one and don't bother changing it. But then, like, if your points down, like after 20 weeks, you're not going to just hold faith, are you? That's the thing.
Yeah, and you got 2 wild cards, which you're going to swap out, aren't you? So, I guess the lesson is kind of like don't play your keeper in tough fixtures.
Yeah.
Is the upside.
That's the thing. Yeah, exactly.
And then yeah, just finally covering off budget midfielders, the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th highest scoring mids all started the season around 5.5. Rodgers, Murphy.
Rodgers is getting a big bump.
Yeah, Semenyo and Kluivert. I mean, what about Bournemouth, Andy? You see them improving and like continuing their momentum if Areola stays?
I mean, they have a very, very solid core group of players. So as long as that core is intact and they make 1 or 2 signings, but it is too small of a sample size to be like, oh, they're going to have just as good of a season. If you remember, they had this spurt where they were amazing, right? Almost like top 5 in the league at one point, like super, super good. But it's the thing about these mid-tier teams is that Spurs could be Bournemouth next year, right? It could there's so many guys at that. The Premier League is so incredibly competitive now, I think in modern era, that besides the relegation teams, any team could beat any team like in any given game week. So, and people have money, man. Clubs have money. Sometimes, I was looking at some salary to something ratio where Spurs have one of the best sort of salary, low salary compared to, I can't remember if it was against revenue or something like that. And Aston Villa have one of the highest salaries, and them not making it to Champions League this time is going to hurt them. And situations like that changes owners' mindset of like, how much more am I going to invest in order to get to the Champions League when I'm bleeding money every year, right? So I think there's a lot at play for these mid-tier teams in terms of financial implications as well, if that makes sense.
One cheap player I'm quite interested in seeing next season is Ahmad.
Yeah.
He was 5 mil this year. I think it will go up, but I don't think it will go up as much as it maybe should.
7,
and they don't have. I don't think it'll be 7.
6.
I wouldn't be surprised if he gets announced as 6'5" and he's in loads of drafts. They've got no Europe as well. I do think there's going to be a little bit of that with United, that they'd have no Europe. Yeah. That we might see a little bit of a boost. He was actually interesting on FPL Optimized. You can see your most points.
Oh, the Ahmad hat trick. I should have talked about that.
The defenders, midfielders, forwards. So like Salah scored me 517 points, but you can show relative gain. And Ahmad is my 4th highest midfielder for relative gain this year. He scored me 29 points more than the average person got from him.
You had him for a hat trick. It's the hat trick.
It was the hat trick, yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Rotation, yeah. But if Ahmad comes in at 6, which I don't think is impossible, I think he'll be so popular next year.
On United, actually, surely their goalkeeper's got to be 4.5.
Who's their goalkeeper going to be?
Well, we don't know, but that could easily be the go-to goalkeeper at 4.5.
Yeah.
Cool. Moving on to forwards.
We may well get a United defender, a centre back who's 4.5 next year.
Well, I mean, in theory, we should do. They've been absolutely rubbish.
Yeah.
Same goes with Spurs, I suppose. You might get some cheap players.
Yeah.
But yeah, forwards, Isak just about held off Chris Wood, 211 points. Chris Wood, the only other forward to hit 200. Then Watkins, Visser, Haaland in 5th, Cunha, Mateta, Strand Larsen, and Delap. So the most expensive player in FPL, Haaland, was outscored by 4 forwards.
Chris Wood is my biggest average gain on the average player. I got 131 points more from Chris Wood than the average player got.
Jeez.
That is why he's my player of the season. That is basically double anyone else in my team.
What was his XG, Harry? If you still got it open.
I can get it. Chris Wood had an XG of 13.4.
And he scored.
And scored 20 goals. That's not actually that big, and that's a less big overachievement than I thought it would be, but that's because recently he's regressed quite a lot.
Yeah. But his data was always poor, wasn't it? Like, in the tables and stuff, he was always... like.
It was more it was more just watching him like get 1 or 2 chances a game and somehow burying it. That was what the frustration as a non-owner came from. I mean, that's you got to buy goals, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Andy,
he did
I'll
his
ask
job.
you a question.
Yeah.
What about Cunha next season? Man United.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be pretty popular.
Yeah, yeah.
Where do you see his price being?
Oh, price.
Ends
No.
the season at 7. Same again, maybe?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think 9's too much, no? Probably like 7, 5, 8.
What, United?
Sorry, I said 7. I said...
You
Yeah.
think Cunha is going to be 7 mil?
No. Like 7, 5, maybe 8.
Sorry. No chance.
You think he's going to be 9?
Yeah.
Really?
If Cunha goes to United, he's had a great season.
No, I don't think he's
Yeah,
going to
but
be
like,
9.
how much was Watkins was 8.5 after 200 points. And Cunha...
No, I understand.
has
I
got
understand the
178.
level.
He won't be
yeah,
that high, Harry.
yeah. So you're saying he's going to be the same price as Isak at the start of this year?
No way.
Isak was 9, right?
Nah,
That's
I
why
can't
I'm-
see that. And not on
I
penalties
can't see that.
either.
Yeah, it's Newcastle too. I think he's going to be like 8 max, 8.5. 8.
If Cunha is 8 max, he's going to be in every team.
Yeah, but
He will be the most highly
if you
owned
look at what
player.
they've done, Harry, like what did Watkins? He got over 200 points, and he was what was he 8.5? I just can't see the justification for Cunha being so high. But you might be right. Like maybe the aspect.
Do you
of
also
him-
think? Do you think he'll be a forward or a midfielder?
Forward.
I think he'll be a midfielder.
Because he's not
What?
playing up front, and he's not going to play up front at United.
He's going to be one of the 2 10s, isn't he? Behind the
And he
striker.
didn't play striker at Wolves either.
Huh. No, he's going to be forward, man. No way.
If he's an 8 million forward in game week 1, he's going to be in every team. He'll be like, the things like the most highly owned, like when Gabriel Jesus broke the record for the most highly owned player in game week 1. That will be Matheus Cunha if he's 8 million at Man United.
So how much should Visser be then?
I don't know.
If he goes to United,
At what? At Brentford?
Well, yeah, but do you think Cunha should be higher because he's Man United?
Yeah.
Okay, fair. Yeah, that's fair enough. Because United players do become more popular because there's more United fans than anyone else.
But also the potential for him to do really well is bigger.
What about Chris Wood? Do you think he should be 9? Off
No.
200 points?
I think Cunha should be more expensive than both Whistler and Chris Wood.
no, I agree with you there. I agree with
I
you
maybe
there. It's
agree,
just,
but I don't think that's... I'm not
yeah.
sure that's the logic they use.
Yeah, but they should. There's no way that anyone... If Chris Wood and Cunha are the same price next year, who are you owning? Cunha.
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 Here we go.
But
If
would he
Cunha
even
and Wissa were the
he
same
would
price
start?
next season, yeah. Given
Alright.
that he starts pre-season,
All right, fine. I'm going to go with 8.5.
I
But
think they'll
he,
price
he
it.
must
I
be a
think I'll price it
midfielder
in.
based off his positioning.
Yeah, maybe he'll be midfielder, and then he has to be even more expensive.
Yeah, maybe. Here's another price because we're like speculating. How much should Foden be next year? 7.5. I can see him being something like that.
I still think they don't do that.
Yeah, I think they remain
They've
around.
done that before. They brought Rashford.
They
right
did it with
down
Rashford, actually,
after
didn't they?
His big season.
So maybe he will be, and then if he starts in pre-season, he'll be in every team.
Yeah, but do you think Marmoush will? Yeah, it could be either, I suppose.
Yeah, well, it's true. Like Marmoush is an interesting one as well because he surely should be a midfielder as well, or do they not because he's still Haaland's backup?
Yeah, that is tricky.
But yeah, I just think Cunha will be more because his goal record's still pretty good this year.
Do you think Isak should be the second highest?
Yes.
Yeah,
10,
definitely.
10.5.
He has to be hard to reach. You have to
10.
sacrifice to get him.
Salah and Isak are going to be the template premiums, aren't they?
What if Isak's 10?
Unless they mess around with Haaland.
I
Who
just
knows,
can't
right?
see. Haaland has to come down a lot for people to buy him, I think.
If
That's what I'm saying.
Isak's 10, I don't know about
Yeah.
that. If Isak's over 10, I'm not
I
sure.
suppose then you're saying, well, I'm not going to captain him. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess like reverse thinking of it, Palmer what was 10-5 at the start, right? Something like that.
He'll stay.
So-
I think he'll be 10. I think he'll be the same.
But what I'm saying is like you still owned him, right? A lot of people still try to own him. And maybe not.
Yeah.
What was the template? It was Saka and Salah, right?
That's
you
true.
picked two of...
Let me
Haaland.
find my team. Because I basically owned every highly owned player in Game Week 1.
I'm pretty sure people
I was just like,
picked one. or
don't
two.
put myself in a position to be unlucky in Game Week 1. So I had Saka and I had Saka Haaland. People didn't go Salah. People went Haaland Game Week 1. There was the big debate. Do you not remember? Like the whole of pre-season was Haaland versus Salah versus both.
Yeah. I
And it was
remember.
really split. So actually, they did a really good job of pricing with those two. for
But
Game
they
Week
all
one.
It was
got the
great
same
pricing
points,
this year.
didn't they? They were so close. And then because Palmer got a hat-trick, he was up there as well.
They
I
did a good
remember
job
bringing
at
in-
pricing. Outside of things they couldn't control, they did a good job of pricing this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because it's the 24-25 season, it would be wrong if we didn't finish off with the managers. The only season in FPL history you can pick a manager, maybe the only season. So the first question is,
I hope they keep
do
it.
we want it back? What do we want next year?
I hope they keep it and they tweak it.
Expand?
I just think it's too powerful and too complicated. But I think it should be 1 or 2 weeks. It shouldn't take up a spot from a club. There shouldn't be a price. And you should just be able to pick a manager
As
1
a
or 2
chip
weeks.
or just like a game-wide?
No, not for the whole season. Just as a chip.
So from,
Yeah.
Just make it less powerful. Like 3 weeks is a lot. Like 1 or 2 weeks. Manager doesn't cost money. Doesn't take up a pick from your team. And let's roll with it.
I
didn't
think
mind
the
it,
money,
man.
for me, the money part has to be there. Because otherwise, because it makes you make decisions.
I guess so. But that we've realised the chip is so powerful that you just need to free up the money.
Yeah, it's true. And I suppose the managers you actually want for the table bonus are always the cheapest ones anyway. Andy, what do you think about the chip?
I have a good impression of it because it turned out well for me.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like if it went
Yeah.
well for you, you like the chip.
Yeah, you just
You
got
like the chip if
320
it turned out
points.
well. Yeah. It turned out almost too good. Like I think it was Moyes to Glasner,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, and it was like perfect. So yeah, I agree. I think if they tweak it a bit, it'll be interesting. I don't know what to tweak, to be frank with you, but I enjoyed it a little bit.
Would you be against having a
I
manager
also-
the whole time?
Yes.
What?
What, like the manager the whole time? Oh, that...
The whole season?
I don't like that.
I don't necessarily
That's-
mind it as an engagement.
It would have to be much less powerful.
Just half the points, maybe.
Like, imagine it's on Glasner every week and he's just banging out 20 pointers every 3
It would have
weeks.
to be a simple win, draw, loss type of thing. Just like points for win, points for draw, 0 points for loss. And keep it super simple.
And just double it if you beat a
I think table bonus
team.
is
So
actually
6.
a good thing because otherwise you'd never pick a lower manager.
But 20
yeah,
is a lot
yeah.
of points.
Yeah.
It is. But if table bonus wasn't a thing, everyone would have picked slot.
But also, you can't do that from game week 1. You can't give the chip in game week 1
I guess then it wouldn't be a
because
chip, would it? So
you just Liverpool table bonus because they're 16th alphabetically. Great. I'll take Arnie Slot game week 1 with table bonus. Thanks. Like what?
imagine if
We
they
can't
forgot,
have it.
imagine if they did that. It's like a massive oversight, and they couldn't rewrite the game.
Like no, everyone who's looking at it just banks on like 20 points in the first week. Yeah.
Yeah, we should wrap it up. Moyes was the top scoring manager, 137 points.
Nice.
And he came in at the lowest price, followed by Glasner, Hertzler, Slot, and Frank. So four of the top 5 scoring managers were table bonus managers.
I have to say, I didn't like it when it got launched, but it was quite nice to have something a bit different.
And
that I agree with.
And you used
I'm
it
not
in a
a-
different way, didn't you?
I'm not against them just doing a mystery chip every year. Or just a new chip, which is just 1 year for the same chip. Like 1 year chips. So like the same normal ones, and then just one on top of it that changes.
Yeah.
Huh.
What do you think about chips more generally, Andy? What would you... I still think we should have 2 triple captains, 2 bench boosts in the first... I think we should have it first half of the season just to spice things up.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
I personally don't want to take away from what the game's been about for the last 5, 6, 7 years, right?
Yeah.
It's a fair game in some ways with a lot of luck at play if you plan right and you're rewarded for planning, let's say. But I do agree with both you guys. I do agree that having more chips is more fun, Tom, like you said. And I do think that what Harry said about having some like random variable is interesting. I'm not sure if I agree with the mystery chip section. We should at least know beforehand. But yeah, I don't mind having more chips. I think it makes the game more engaging and more fun.
Yeah, and I've just thought of another question, so I'll ask it. 5 free transfers being rolled. Did either of you get to 4 or 5?
No, it doesn't even help. Yeah.
I think
I
Harry,
think
you got to 4 at one point.
Yeah, and I made them all in the same week, and then there was a double game week announced after I made.
I
the 4
I just
transfers.
think to be
Outrageous.
yeah, I just think the 5 chips only benefits those guys that are on a roll, and people who are chasing, like you'll never see the benefits of 5 chips because you're just continuously chasing transfers, you know. So I'm not really sure how I feel about it. Maybe it makes no difference if it's less transfers.
Yeah, I guess it gives... If you happen to, I don't know, get lucky, whatever you want to call it, if you have a really good start, I guess you can get another advantage from that.
Yeah,
It's a huge advantage. Yeah. If you get your game week 1 team right, you're just sitting on transfers and it's like a mini wild card game week 9, right? So
it's just there's so few hits, right? Hits have to be so valuable now because you can get so many transfers that less people are taking hits that you have to be really convinced that it's worthwhile. And with less doubles, it's even less worthwhile.
Yeah. And I promise we'll end the stream in a minute. I just thought of one final question. Bench boost in game week 1? What?
No,
No.
no.
I'm not having it.
Come on.
Despite
No,
the fact you ended up using it in a single anyway.
Yes, so I've thought about it, right? The reason I don't like it is not because I don't like bench boost game week 1, because bench boost game week 1 I like. The issue is the wildcard game week 2 that it would force.
Yeah, I guess it depends how cheap. Like if you had like, I don't know, if a worse team was playing Sunderland at home and you could get 4.5 defenders, for example.
If you can build a bench boost game week 1 that doesn't mean you have to wildcard game week 2, then I'm all for it. But I don't like that wildcard.
Yeah, that's the obvious trade-off, I suppose. And I guess game week 1 team selections is always a little bit iffy.
It works particularly well if 2 big teams play each other on the opening day, like City Chelsea, for example. Because what it meant was you'd wildcard game week, you'd pick a team game week 1 without any Chelsea, without any City this season, because you don't need to spend the money on them because they're playing against each other. Game week 2, you wildcard, and you can buy them in, and you can build a 15-player squad without those expensive players that does really well.
Yeah. On that note, I'll remind you that Haaland scored twice in game week 1.
Exactly.
But it's a good shout. But I guess
It'll be
a thing.
it'll
It'll
worth
definitely
a
be a
chat.
thing, I think.
But there might be a storm again, and then who knows?
True. Or how old's the king? Anyway.
Exactly.
Cool. We'll go into the outro now. Just any final thoughts, Andy?
Harry, you think I should say?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, pretty sad, but I think this might be potentially my last episode as a co-host of Burning Questions. And I wrote a few things I really wanted to get off the chest. You guys mind me
Yeah,
reading
go for it.
something?
No, yeah, all good. The floor
So,
is yours.
by the way, we don't know. I'm hoping Harry and Tom can continue the show next year, and we'll get back to you guys on it. But first of all, thank you to all that supported the show this year, and thank you to both my co-hosts. I just wanted to write a few things and say a few things. If you can give me a minute. It is very cringy, by the way. But,
go for it. Go for it.
To everyone that supported Burning Questions from the very beginning, and to all those that supported me as a co-host, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. A few years ago, I discovered the Twitter community for FPL and met my good friend Kesha of FPL Bruno there, where we got real obsessed with the spaces. And actually, that's where I first talked with Harry as well, if you remember Harry. And back then I was totally immersed in FPL, like breathing it 24/7, just hungry to learn. And, Spaces was a great place to build friends. And one day this guy named Pros calls me and says, "Would you like to do a YouTube show with me?" And I said, "Hey, what's it about? I don't know you. Who are you? Blah, blah, blah." And I remember I had seen Pros in a few summer videos that first year I got into content. And, little did I know that he would become the legend that he is today. But I remember him calling me and saying something like, "I think we should call it Burning Questions. And it's a show where we focus on the burning questions for each week," simply put, right? And at first, we had really no idea what we were doing. I had no idea how to set up a stream, how to go live. We didn't even think anybody would watch. But, things move so fast. And thanks to all of you who turned into Burning Questions that first year, we got so much love. And with it came great opportunities, Sky Sports, Premier League Studios, FPL Show, once in a lifetime memories that I really owe it to all of you guys for supporting us and the show. And Pros, if you're listening, I love you, brother. And, I will always cherish the memories we had. And, I love the show, right? I love, I don't know why I'm tearing up, but I think I had so
It's
many,
emotional.
uh, lifetime memories with the show. And I think the last year or two, life got in the way, and I just couldn't commit to the content like I used to.
Oh, Andy.
You're making me cry, Andy.
Oh no, you're gonna.
This is sad, man.
This is not what I thought I
I'm
was
sorry.
saying on
I'm
my-
sorry. Yeah.
No, don't.
Um,
As I said to you before,
Yeah.
we will do our best to see where we take Burning Questions next year. But to everyone watching, particularly you and also Praz starting it, that is, you guys are Burning Questions, and it's been an absolute pleasure to step in for Praz and do it with you as well. And you can tell how much you love the show and you love the game as well. And it's been difficult for you trying to balance it this year, because you can tell that you really want to do it, but also you have the most insanely busy life of practically anyone I think I've ever met trying to also do FPL content as a pure hobby as well. So just to you, thank you for your hard work on it. The show definitely wouldn't be what it is without you and your dedication to it. And it's been a pleasure doing it. And we're sure we will see you at some point.
Yeah.
But it will just be much less pressure on you. So this isn't, what's the saying? This isn't a goodbye. This is just see you soon.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll just wrap it up. I had a lot more, but I'll just wrap it up, freestyle it. And, I want to thank you, Harry, because when I asked you, I never thought a big time YouTuber like you would join, but we've created such a great bond, and you're an amazing friend of mine. And Tom, likewise with you, you've been doing a great job this year. Excited for your journey with content, and thank you to FF Scout for the incredible opportunity. And like you said, it's just a goodbye for now. I really hope to be back one day. But thank you to everyone listening over the years, anyone in the chat, and man, I will forever be grateful to all of you guys for everything. So sending all my love. Thank you guys. Thank you.
That's great words, Andy. And obviously from everyone at FF Scout, we are very, very grateful for everything that you've done, and you've been a part of our family. That will obviously never change, and I'm sure you'll be back in and around stuff.
Yeah.
Because when you get the FPL bug, it's quite hard to let it go. So,
It is.
yeah.
You never let it go.
But yeah. Yeah, so obviously everyone at Scout is very, very grateful for everything you've done, and
Yeah.
much
Thank you,
much
guys. Thank you.
appreciated. And just judging by the chat, it's there's a lot of love out there.
It is. It's there's a lot of love for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. I had no idea I was going to tear up, but I guess that I really grateful for all you guys. Thank you.
As
Thank
someone
you.
in the chat said, tearing up is the nature of leaving speeches. It shows that you mean it.
Yeah, that's,
That is true.
It's well said.
It's true. We've all, most of us at some point have stood up to make a speech, not expecting to be emotional about it, but it shows that you care that much. But,
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
and that is all.
yeah, we'll wrap that up.
Yep.
For 24-25, another season in the can, another top 10k finish for Harry. But it's much more. There's much more important things in life than FPL rank. So, whatever's happened this season, enjoy the summer, enjoy the Club World Cup. I'm sure you'll all be watching Chelsea take on the best, and we'll see you in one form or another very, very soon. So, thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.